Hi.
Hello.
Welcome everybody to Inside Handy Games, and today streaming is about Perish.
Freshly released, hot off the press.
Yeah, just a few hours ago. It's available on Steam and GOG, so we are very happy about it. First of all, I am Laura. I'm social media from Handy Games, and here we have Felix.
Yep, I'm with QA here. I've been lead testing this game, working closely with the devs, and I'm very happy to get that out of you guys to enjoy now. So.
Yeah. And the captain of the boat is Tini, in the technique, in the controls.
Keeping us afloat. Yep, there you go.
And here we have the brothers, item 42, and our special guest Joe, who was part of the soundtrack composition.
Can we get them in here?
Yes.
1 second. There we go.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
Hey. Yo.
Whoa, what a day. So excited.
What a day indeed.
Yeah.
Long
Yeah, let's
time
rock
coming.
and roll.
Well, how are you guys? How is it going?
Yeah, it's good.
Pretty good.
We're
It's been a
it's a hectic, crazy day.
It's crazy, but it's gone pretty smooth. You know, that's the fear, is that everything breaks, but actually it's kind of working. The game works. So good job, Felix.
Well, thank you. Good job, you guys, keeping it stable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
It's Felix holding it all together.
Yeah.
under the desk right now. I'm just gluing everything. No, should we have the guys introduce themselves briefly, so you know
Yes,
everybody
please.
knows what part of the game they worked on? So maybe Brett can just go right ahead.
Yeah, so I'm Brett Ware, and I did the art and the story for the game, basically. So all the models that you see, all the characters, level design, story, the voices is
Oh.
all me.
Yeah, it's all you.
Your
Also,
voices.
the priestess too, by the way. So
Yeah, the priestess, yeah.
if
Yeah, I
you
did
know-
some weird like lawn landing stuff. So
Awesome.
so that's what I did. Then let's skip over to Regan.
Yeah, so I'm Regan Ware, brother of Brett, and I did everything technical, so taking all of his art and making it move, giving the gameplay some life, and yeah, making multiplayer work. I spent most of my time doing that. So yeah, anything technical, that's me.
And animations.
And animations, yeah, with the suit.
the moped stuff.
With help,
Yeah.
of course, from Alex Downham of Default Interactive as well.
Yeah.
He's a long-time collaborator, so he helped out as well. And finally, onto the music guy, the most important one.
Hello, my name's Joe, and I did the soundtrack. I did a few little sounds as well, and a few of the creatures, the demons, the nasties that are in the game as well. But yeah, mostly just did the soundtrack. Just wrote all the music that you're listening to whilst you're slaying and destroying and shooting everything.
Is it you that we hear when Catharao screams at us then? Is that you?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, that is you,
Yeah,
Joe.
it is,
That is
Yeah,
you.
that was me. Yeah. It's such a
didn't
long
know.
time ago. Yeah. That was
And the pyres as well.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh yeah, so the
It's a lot of fun.
if you play the game and you encounter Catharao, just imagine Regan in a mocap suit, Joe sitting next to him screaming, and that's pretty much what you get right there.
Mhm. Well, sure, that was so much fun.
I think there's even still a video on our Item 42 YouTube where you can see Joe screaming maniacally into a microphone.
Yeah, there is.
Nice.
Oh yeah, of course there is. Yeah,
Very
I forgot about
important work. Very important work.
that. Such a long time ago now. Such a long time ago.
Definitely, yeah, go check that out. I mean, that's probably what happens if you have just 3 guys pretty much basically working on, you know, the entirety of this game. You have some overlap, some fun stories to tell.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Very fun. I think you have a lot of anecdotes that we maybe will get to
We can talk about
during
it
the
later.
course of the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And well, also I would like to say hi to all the chat, that we are already having a lot of commentaries, and congratulations to the great job, guys.
Awesome.
So,
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, great. So before we continue,
Mhm.
we could go and see the trailer.
Yeah.
What do you think, Seni?
Let's have a brief look.
You are not supposed to be here. We have been led astray from our path.
Crawl back into the coffin out of which you unceremoniously scuttled.
Through the portal, purgatory awaits. When you fail, return to me. This necromantic temple was used to communicate with the dead. Burn that profane temple to the ground.
We're back.
Amazing. Now that you mentioned that you are the princess and the voice acting,
Oh yeah, if you know that Brad did the voice
then it's
acting,
like, damn, that was a great job.
if you know it's him, and you listen to the priestess, she has like two kind of, it feels like she has two voice lines, one deeper voice and one higher voice. And if you closely listen to the lower one, you can hear Brad. At least I managed to do so.
Don't listen too closely.
After hundreds of hours of playing, I finally managed to hear Brad speaking to me. But
Now I can see our fans like, oh really? Let's come be closer. Well, we have a commentary already. I just bought this game and I can't wait to play it. Stream it. Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's
of
awesome.
course, we will do it soon.
Yeah.
But before, well, I would like to talk about you guys and get to know a bit about you, about the experience, about have developed this game. So tell us, how is to have released your first game?
It's a weird mixture for me. It's because we've lived it for 4 years. Sometimes it's easy to forget how involved you are in something, and it becomes like part of your life. It's your baby, it's your child, you know, and then you like let it out into the wild, and then so that's a weird feeling. But it's really fun to put it out there as well. I'm so glad people, you know, because the end goal is for people to have fun, right? So that's more than I can ask for. So yeah, it's a good feeling.
I think after the last few months of development, you're not doing so much gameplay. You're doing a lot of fixing. I'm very relieved that it's out and it's working pretty well. Actually, I'm really happy with how well it's working. And I'm the one guy who fixes the bugs. So it's I'm happy
man.
it works. I'm the bug guy, and I don't like insects.
Yeah,
So,
and like you said as well. We've just been doing a lot of background work in the last few months, just trying to get it ready. There's less art. I kind of finished the art a few months ago, and then it's just little tweaks here and there on the path, and then it becomes more of an administrative thing. You've got to get the game ready, got to sort out all the things, which Felix obviously is just majorly helped with. So finally, after today, I can just play it again, because half the reason we made it is because we love playing co-op games together.
Yeah.
That's what we did growing up, because we're brothers. And that's kind of what we want to do now as well. We want to play co-op games together, just like the old days. So that's kind of what Paris is a love letter to old games, where co-op was the central focus, and obviously it's a good single player game as well. And like older games as well, it's kind of a seamless thing.
isn't this also, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this also kind of the intention that you guys, like all of you had, is with the connected to the music, and you just as a few friends and brothers being like, wasn't the original idea like, can we make a music album playable and then combine it with your love for cooperative games? Isn't that how this whole thing originated?
Yeah, that was the original. That was the original intention. It ballooned a bit from there, but I think it's
Just a bit.
just a bit.
Just a little
But I
bit.
think
A
it's
little bit.
better. It's all the better for it, you know, because it could have just stayed. When we first made the game, it was just one little arena, and the arena slowly moved up the level as you played.
Yep.
And that's still a cool idea, but after a little while, we were like, we need some levels. We want to see some, you know, different places. Let's take you on a journey rather than just have you fight in one place. So that's what Perish is about. It's about a journey.
Yeah, I think that came together quite nicely over the last few years actually. That
Yeah.
you know,
How
I was
long
always
have you been developing the game?
Oh,
4 years?
like-
Yeah, I think so.
yeah,
Yeah.
since we actually started it, 4 years. Yeah,
Wow.
because we were even when we first started just doing it part time before we
No way.
got returned to games. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so for a significant portion, we were like, you know, pure indie dev, you know, getting back in the evening from work and just making it. So
Yep.
that was the toughest bit, you know, because you got to get into and we already worked in, you know, Unreal Engine during the day. So we do Unreal Engine during the day. We come back home, have a bit of dinner, and then we'd make Perish. So that was crazy.
that's pretty cool.
But then Handy Games came along, which is amazing, and helped us flesh it out.
I think you did a actually insane job at fleshing it out. Like I think we had a lot of good talks throughout the weeks and month together with you guys, and you know, always found new stuff that we found was fitting the story that you guys wanted to do, was fitting the music, was making the game so much fun to play with. Like I've played this game in testing. I checked my Steam page earlier. It was like 650 hours of gameplay.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Wow.
And
That's a lot of
I'm still
hours.
enjoying it. So
Yeah.
that means something. And
That is next level
That's good
amount
then.
of hours.
No? You can go and play again and again with your with your
Yep.
friends or solo.
It's-
You can have different experiences.
yeah, it was so much fun, like working with you guys on it, and you know, fleshing that stuff out. And I love the music. I love the gameplay. I love everything about it. So you know, what can I say? After 650 hours, still playing a game, which is also reminding me of what you guys said. I'm rambling a little bit, but you guys were like, in the day's work, you know, you were working on it every day for hours and years and weeks, months, years. So at some point, now that the game is released, you have the time to just, you know, take a step back and actually look at what you've accomplished through the years. And I think that's maybe the feeling that, you know, Brad and Regan just described as well. Like, it's out there now. We have the time to actually have a look at what we built, and I think it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
Now
absolutely.
we can put 600
100%.
hours into it.
Now you can put 600 hours into it.
Yeah.
Maybe open some random lobbies later today, and have some people join and play with the devs. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Start
yeah.
the grind. Start the grind.
So, talking about Perish, and because we are talking about a lot of things, but what is Perish? What you could say this Perish?
I would say, I suppose we all got a slightly different answer to that, because I always, you know, I like to see it from the story perspective, but that's not the one that most people might take initially, because, you know, it's a video game, and you know, the most important thing is how fun it is. So I think Regan might come from the fun perspective, because that's his domain. He's the one who's made it fun,
Mechanics,
not me.
The skills. So how
Yeah.
skilled you
Yeah.
have to be, right? It must be.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So so for me, it's Perish is kind of a bit of a love letter to a few games that I grew up on. Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, sort of games like that. And from a story perspective, it's been a really nice outlet for me to write the lore for the game. So I got to flex a little bit of ancient mythologies. So I've obviously combined mythologies together for a bit of.
Which kind of mythology?
Yeah, it's a real mixture. People will probably notice the Greek, ancient Greek influence there. So like another big one halfway through the game kind of changes aesthetic a little bit halfway through. So we get a bit more kind of Roman aesthetics going on. And then in the third level, we get a bit more eldritch horror. So I guess like Christian mythology starts to creep in a little bit, and kind of Lovecraft maybe. So yeah, it's a real mixture of mythologies. And I tried to pick mythologies. I used mythologies that people are very much aware of already, but I tried to pick characters from the mythologies that are just less well known. So instead of it even extends to characters like we don't have Hades because there's already a game called Hades and it's perfect. It's a perfect video game. So we have Aedonis. Okay, so we just have we have a slightly different name for him, and he's not really he's not a present character in the game because we picked other characters like we picked
Unappreciated ones.
Yeah, we picked Hipparchia the Cynic, and she's descended from the overworld into the underworld, and you need to go find her and talk to her. We picked Pythia, the priestess of the Pantheon, who Pythia would be an oracle at Delphi. Just cool stuff like that. So Perish to me, excuse the long rambly answer, is like it's been an exercise in like world building for me, but hopefully in a way that isn't intrusive with loads of cutscenes and stuff like that. I want you to go and explore what was in my head, and hopefully it gels with you or it doesn't. But it's been a really fun journey for me to make the story.
Yeah, I think for me it's just about like moments. Like we just wanted to make moments that make everyone go, "Whoa, that's sick!"
Like the
so it's a lot less deep
exploding,
than Brett's, but it's like So you kill a boss, and then another one shows up, and he grabs his weapon, and the moon explodes.
This moment.
That's what
whoa.
that for me is
So
like that's a
epic.
moment that defines like the game, and like that sort of from the start of the game to that area is like kind of became what defined the rest of the game. I think it was like the template for the rest of it.
Yeah, and it's
That's
kind of
where we
like,
really discovered like what is the game when we got to that, and we had that moment at the end of it, and I was like, okay, this is where the fun is, and then we just chased it for the next 2 or 3 times as much levels as we have as that.
Yeah, and it's not a super serious game either. It doesn't take itself. Even though I was going on about selecting characters from mythology that are lesser sort of that might not have heard of as much. It was also it's a bit of fun. It's a co-op game primarily, so like Regan said, it is the focus is the fun, and there's elements of silliness. We've got some like really obscure jokes in there that I think a couple of people in our Discord have found already.
Amazingly, I don't know how.
People are
So yeah, it's also a silly game.
Yeah, and I think
What was that, Felix?
people are pretty good at finding stuff like this. And I was just there's a lot of stuff to find there, and this is also what kind of combines the two things that you said, is like the moments and programming side of Regan and the story of Brad, and you combined them very well into you. It's not like we have people in testing who really loved the lore. I know, for example, Fabi. I think he's in chat, so shout out to Fabi. He did also a lot of testing on the game. He really loved digging into the lore and finding the codex stuff that is hidden all over the game that you can find to learn more about the lore. But if you just want to shoot hordes of enemies, you can also do that. So, and then this is combined with the music of Joe to get him in here a little bit as well. For me, it just makes up for a great game.
It's a great combination.
I mean, of course, I would say that, I
possibilities,
tested as a bunch, so, but it really is. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think we also had a question for Joe, right? To get him in here a little bit.
Yes, of course, about the soundtrack.
Yes, let's
Yes.
talk about the soundtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
We talked about story, we talked about gameplay, so we're missing the soundtrack element of it.
Mm-hmm. So tell us, what inspired you to do this metal soundtrack?
Well, I think me and Brett have always been into like really heavy music and metal in particular, and that's how we met and became friends.
Cool.
So I guess I'm kind of speaking for both of us when I say it just kind of felt right to have that kind of soundtrack, especially when the game is so hectic and there's so much going on, and it's so there's so much action and there's so much like suspense everywhere that it's complemented perfectly by that energetic music, metal, like, and just the metal has been like just so easy to complement the game with, and just like inspiring for both of us, like visually and like just it's been great.
Do the levels of the parts of the game has a specific, like, have you think, oh, okay, for this level I'm gonna make this and this kind of music, or it has been more like in the flow, more spontaneous?
It's kind of so I wrote a lot of the music like later on. So once I had all the levels that were laid out, it made it so made it so much easier to get a feel, because I could kind of look around the levels and kind of like first I would kind of like think of like the tempo, and then think of like the energy, like the volume, like the atmosphere, and then just kind of build upon it. And then by the end of it, like I would get so into it that the songs would kind of just write themselves by the end of it. Just like, as I said, once you get into that flow, like it just sort of because there is so much visually there. Like Brett has done such an incredible job at creating so much atmosphere just through like it just through like the simplest of areas. Like it still just looks just so stylish. So it was an absolute like pleasure to write the music for, because there was just so much inspiration like at every corner.
Someone can feel that you enjoy playing it, so now we can enjoy it too.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah. Totally.
chime into that. You can not only get the game on Steam, you can also get the soundtrack on Steam, right? So
Right.
Yeah,
everything you pretty much, I think you hear it in the background all the time is the parish music playing
Yeah.
a little bit. Currently, we're listening to the theme song of, I would say, the Talash and Fisher, is what I think. But you can get that on Steam.
Whoa,
You can get the whole album
you
on
made
Steam.
it.
So definitely check that out. It's good music. I've listened to it before, of course. I have the whole album already, and it's awesome. Really nice.
Yeah, there's about 26 tracks, I think, of varying lengths. So each level in the game has at least one song, if not two or three,
Yep.
which is fun.
It's quite the album, right? It's actually like 26 songs on the album is
Yeah.
not that.
It's a
common.
long time.
Yeah.
Like just listening to the whole album in one go. It's a lot of music in terms
It's
of
a lot.
minutes.
There's a lot.
Well, and then we have talk about the story, the game development, the soundtrack. Now my favorite part, the weapons. Which one would you say is your favorite?
My favorite one. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
difficult one. Without spoiling too much, I really like the bow. It came in pretty late, but I think the bow feels very good. And I also like the gauntlets a lot. These are a very late game, and one has to find them because they're hidden very well. But once you unlock those, it's pretty fun. No, I like these two, I think.
Do you have any favorite guys? Or
Yeah, what do you
someone
think,
that you put
Regan?
too much
Oh, they're
love?
called conduits.
And-
Regan,
I like
Regan
the-
made actually most of the animations and the way that they sort of handle.
Yeah.
So you must have one.
I like
that you...
the Boreas. It's a bolt action rifle you find in the forges, and I think it's actually because of the way I made it. Because I have a 3D printer, and I wore the suit for the mocap, so I 3D printed like a little bolt to do this
Wow,
action.
Nice.
The one bit of engineering I've ever done in my life. So I could get that like hard movement in the in the suit, and it's also I just love bolt action rifles in games, so I had to have one in, and it's my favorite weapon, unsurprisingly.
What about you, Joe?
I really like the revolver. I can't remember what its official name is in the game,
Zophos.
but the revolver's that's the one. I find it very satisfying, but I tend to use the sword mostly because I can just swing around and not have to worry. I'm not very good at aiming, so the revolver is wasted on me.
Yeah, I would probably pick. I think I would probably pick Zophos, Eos, or Labrius if I'm allowed to pick three instead of one.
Wow.
All of them. I like all the weapons.
Yeah,
I've actually been corrected.
I mean
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
they're all pretty great. They're all like so satisfying to use, so it's hard to pick one really.
Yeah. It actually changed. For me, it changed throughout development. And I've actually been corrected just now that, by Fabi, thank you,
Yeah.
that these are called Zeus conduits by now.
Oh yeah,
I've
that's
just
true.
been with the game for so long. They've been, that's also the part about development, right? They've been gauntlets in the beginning, but they turn into more conduits throughout the game. Because, I think Brad had some more time on his hand and decided he doesn't like the gauntlets, so he made them conduits. So, these are pretty fun though.
I think we had some funny. That's one of the funny things about game development. I think we had some funny issues with the word conduit as well, didn't we?
Yes.
Like translating that.
Yeah.
So that made me laugh.
Yeah.
Well,
All kinds of things will crop up when you make a game. Even a word could throw something off for a bit.
Yep.
So that's fun.
Especially because you were using, or the game is using more of a how do I word this? You know, very English, like very high
antiquated.
Antiquated English, and things have a different meaning in the context of the game. But if you rip them out of context and give them to some localization studios, they sometimes have a hard time translating them with the meaning of the game. Like these, for example, the conduits. If you see them and you play them, you know exactly what Red meant with them. But if you don't see the weapon, it's kind of difficult. So that was a little bit challenging, but I think we managed it quite well.
Well. I have a question. Because for these people that they start to get into this genre, we could say that Parish has roguelike elements, right? So could you explain us what
Yeah,
is that
sure.
about?
So I would say Perish has taken some of the elements of roguelikes that we find quite fun, which is the idea that death is a bit more meaningful than just a checkpoint.
Okay.
So the whole idea of Perish is you start off in Pantheon, and Pantheon is a hall or a chamber that used to be a venerative temple, but it's sunk into the underground after millennia, and it's basically where souls go if they haven't completed the rites of Orpheus. The rites of Orpheus are required to enter the afterlife proper, and the afterlife proper is what we might call heaven.
Okay.
But in the context of Perish, it's the Elysian Fields, or just Elysium. So the idea is you're here in Pantheon, and you need to commit to a vast journey across purgatory in order to relive the suffering of the infant Dionysus, in order to make it to Elysium. So you need to basically prove to King Minos, who is the judge of the underworld. We could have used Hades there, but we thought let's use some different characters. Let's use King Minos, because King Minos was a famous king of Crete.
Okay.
And we thought that would be a more fun character to use for this particular moment, because he was known to be especially fierce and harsh, and that kind of is reflected in the gameplay loop, where if you die along the path to Elysium, yes, you will go back to the very beginning and wake up in the coffin from whence you came.
Well, and then you have to restart everything from the very beginning.
Yes, but there's a few things that change to keep the flow, so it doesn't feel like you've lost everything, right?
Okay.
So you keep a little bit of the money that you earn. And the trick of Perish is to kind of go back to Pantheon when you've made enough money. Don't push it too far, or like in Sekiro or Elden Ring or Dark Souls, you'll get burnt. And you'll lose a fair whack of money. So the whole point is to go back, buy some better weaponry, and then try again. And each time you try again, the objectives in each level will shift. So the levels are all handcrafted. You will go through each level sequentially, because it's the same journey. But there are a couple of exceptions. You will go through some levels that are different, that change depending on the objective. But I won't say what they are, because they're kind of fun.
Yep.
And of course, you can have
Don't spoil too much,
600 hours of gameplay.
So, so there's a few things to keep it fresh like that. And obviously, it's a very tough game, but we don't want to punish you for no reason. We just want to show you, death is meaningful in Perish, or we try to make it meaningful. So to show you this is like a worthwhile journey taking. And once you get to the end, we hope to give you that, that Dark Souls feeling of like, yes, finally, yes, epic. So there is a bit of a caveat to that in that if you kill a final boss of an area, of which there are 3, you get a crown that you can steal from that boss. And if you put that crown on, you have to buy it in the shop first, and it's worth a fair bit of money. But if you put it on, you can skip the levels that you took to
Oh, that's
to
great.
kill that boss. So you can,
That's good to know.
yeah. So if you know, because you know, we don't want to punish you. We just want to show you that death is like meaningful and it's a journey.
I think this also, like, first off, because I just saw it in the chat, two things is if you have questions for the guys, you know, like we just wrote, just ask them, fire away. They're happy to answer all of them. And
Oh yeah.
the other thing is, because I just saw somebody that his server is, nobody is on his server playing. You can try to just go to the main menu and you can either host a public lobby and hope that some people join you, or you can just join public lobbies yourself and you just jump into games with other people. So the game has private and public lobbies, and if you just open a public one or try to join a public one, you might you know, chime into some other lobbies and play with some other people. So that's maybe something that is good to know. And the other thing was what I think what Brett explained about the crowns. I know it's a question that you had also, is player feedback that we already received because we had a demo live, right? And I think the crowns were one of the elements that we got a lot of feedback, right? Something like this. So these were a reaction to player feedback we received before. So also, you know, if you have feedback to the game, please send it our way and we'll have a look at it, see what we can do. And I think the question that Laura fielded earlier was, did we do any other changes already based on feedback from the demo, right? That was something you had on your list.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys
we
have
did.
anything?
Yeah, I think we changed the UI a fair bit. So we made it a bit more minimal, but a bit more polished as well. So it used to be a series of horizontal info bars on the bottom left. But everyone was like, those are hard to read when we're playing, because, you know, it's so hectic. And we agreed. So we changed it to a vertical UI segment, and we put a little status bar or a status icon underneath. And that status icon shows you various things. Are you on fire? Are you poisoned? Are you dead? Are you alive? Have you been resurrected?
Info.
Yeah, very important.
Are you shielded also?
Yeah. Are you shielded? Have you been resurrected by your friend? And are you Orphic, which is a bit more of an esoteric one, but it's important for a certain sequence in the game.
Certain something.
Something.
And thinking about, this is more for Regan's question, complications and challenges during the development?
Yeah,
We
I
were
think
talking about feedback, but
Yeah.
that also comes from something earlier.
I think the obvious one and the biggest thing by far that makes the game challenging to make was that it's multiplayer, because you know, 4 times the players is like 400 times the complexity in what's happening. all your different computers are just like pretending that they're connected, and you see copies of your friends, and everything's very smooth, or should be, to the player. But for me, I have to make it smooth and not take up your whole internet connection, syncing every single thing in the game. So it's both a design and technical challenge, because the technical part comes in where I need to make sure like every effect happens for every player, and every player can complete every objective. They don't get stuck or thrown off into the sky.
Yep.
All of these things are examples of things that definitely have happened. And then in a design point of view as well, because we need to decide, okay, like, are the players going to be together at this point in the game? We need to group them up before we start the next objective, or there's so many questions like that come up when you add more than one player. Whereas when you know you have just one, things are simplified a lot. But it's all worth it to have co-op, I think, because it was really a core value from the start that it was a co-op game.
And especially with shooters, right? You need to be on the same page for all the players, right? I think
Exactly, yeah.
A little anecdote from testing was probably that these in the villas, the swinging scythes. Oh my god, I cannot pronounce this word. These were just a little element, right, in the whole game, but they were off sync a little bit from client to host. So that always meant that we're getting damaged by something we didn't know what damaged us. So stuff like this, it's just, you know, Brett probably just put a swinging axe there. Was like, that's fine. And Regan had a small little meltdown trying to get these to sync. So all these challenges,
Exactly.
I think, yeah.
It's quite a technical challenge, that kind of thing, because you would think, oh, we just make the axe send its location or rotation to every other player in the game every frame. It turns out if you try to do that, you're going to take up everyone's internet and they will get disconnected from Discord, for example, because the game will just be like, give me all the data, and I'm using all of it, updating an axe. So you actually have to be quite selective with what you choose. So eventually the solution with the axe is actually one update from the server says, I'm starting the axe now, it's going to move at this speed, it's going to hit its rotation point every X seconds, and then it will sync once a swing, and then your network is like, it can deal with that.
Yeah, I reckon it's worth mentioning as well that the vast majority of the game was programmed by one guy, Regan.
Yes.
So it's mental.
Yeah,
Absolutely crazy.
Just what I wanted to say, right? You're used to, I know online games, right? Most of the games have online stuff, but usually there's a team behind it.
Yes.
And we have Regan.
More than one.
Yeah.
person.
All of it.
Yeah.
Don't look at my brain, it's a
Regan is
black
the
hole.
Team Regan.
So I'm impressed because I think for me at least, when I play it, I'm not representative of everyone, but when I play the game, it's just so smooth, with the co-op joining and stuff like that. So I think it's just very impressive that he's managed to, one guy's managed to put it all together, and it's just really fun.
And somehow one artist made every single piece of art.
That's what I wanted to say also.
Yeah.
That it's amazing to see this game made by just 2 people. And the soundtrack, of course.
Yeah.
What
3
you,
people in
what you can play is when see 2 people, but
I mean, I find it. I find it absolutely insane what these 2 have done. Like, I've just done a very small part of the project, so it's been an absolute breeze for me. But these 2, I don't understand. Like, I can't comprehend how they've managed to create the entire game, just the 2 of them. Like, it is absolutely just madness, utter madness.
Also, one more shout out to Alex Downham of Default Interactive, because he made some really cool stuff like the Ballista objective and the codex. And I love the codex. The codex is really good for me.
Yep.
And the codex is really
right?
easy. Yeah, the codex was really easy, simple for me to use as well because of the way Alex and Regan built it. So I could just go in and just type away my, what my lore was, and I could just fling a mesh in that I thought represented that codex entry, like a character. So that stuff like that, it's worth mentioning. There's lots of solo devs out there who do even more incredible things. I've seen some amazing games out there, but I think for a game like this, you do need help. You do need when you make a cooperative video game, you need to cooperate with other people in order to realize your dream. So, having Felix and Yannick and Fabi, and just having a QA team help iron out all these really crazy things that could go wrong with the game. It's so necessary.
Let's not forget all the other guys involved, right? The producers keeping
Absolutely.
Everything in overview. We have marketing helping us with all the nice traders and assets that making them into nice traders.
Yeah, it was
Setting
a lot
up
of
this
fun.
stream so we can talk about the game, and for you guys out there. And hopefully, I think rather sooner than later, maybe also we want to play the game a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? We've done.
Just make a small resume parish for up to 4 player co-op online campaign multiplayer. You can play also alone with epic boss fights inspiring Greek mythology and also Roman and Christian. And well, this is something I didn't say before, but I can say it now. If you go to Steam, Paris is verified on the Steam Deck.
Right.
Yeah,
You can
from
play
the
it on
very
the go.
first day.
You can play it on the go as well, right?
Yeah.
Regan also managed to do that, and somehow. between all of the other stuff, right? So, let's just
I think
get
you
this very
mostly,
fun trick.
Yeah.
I think you mostly did it for me, right? Because I hate playing on my PC. I like to lie horizontal on my couch and just play like this.
Well, now you can do that.
Yep.
Yeah. And we didn't say the price before, but it's $19.99. It depends where you are.
Yeah, right. We had a
but-
few questions in some forums and
Yeah.
Discord. So it's now that it's out, it's $19.99.
In the Steam and GOG.
Get it everywhere. Get it on
And
Steam Deck.
yeah. And
But
if
for
you're like
launch week,
Brad, you
it's
can
10% off.
Oh yeah, it's 10% off in launch.
It's 10% off. So if you get it now, it's cheaper.
It's
Even cheaper than 19.99.
so just run and get
Get
your
it.
game.
You can also get it bundled with the soundtrack, like we said before. So
Yeah, in the Steam.
so many possibilities.
Yes.
Grab it.
Yeah.
That's such a good deal. I'm going to buy it now.
Yeah, we didn't
before
give Regan
before they
keys.
sell
He's
out,
like,
right?
yeah.
Before it sells out.
Yeah, I've got to get my copy.
He played the game too much. Doesn't no way he gets a key for
Yeah,
it.
I'm the second most hours, but if you
Probably.
count in the Unreal Engine editor,
Yeah, way ahead of me there, probably.
I should have been counting that.
Good. Should we play it a bit? What do you think?
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
please. People can wait to see you guys. So,
Getting carried by Regan. Let's do it. Right.
Okay.
Are we ready to start everything? I hope I don't kill the cine setup now. But,
Yeah.
I get the game going.
I will get out of the screen. I will go with Zini. And of course, if chat, you have any questions or something, just say it and I will say to the guys.
Yep.
All right.
So Laura's been keeping track of the chat, giving us the questions. If you have any feedback, just put it out there. Set it. Right. Give me a second to set everything up. Then
No
I'll
worries.
give you guys the code. And then we can jump right in. Okay, look at this. Set up here. Alright, no pressure.
I need to pick a crown actually.
I also have none.
What should I
think.
go for? I might go bow and daggers. That's my build.
Hacker voice. I'm in.
Is that the acting? The acting.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
that's the quality of acting that you get from me, and then I use all the modulation in Cubase.
Fix it in post. Fix it in post.
Yeah, I fix everything in post.
Oh, I fell off instantly.
Alright, everybody in here? Good.
Yes.
Everybody have their weapon of choice. I can see the EOS here. Kicking me.
I'm gonna go axe. I think.
We have the axe. And I think Regan is fielding the bow.
I've got a bow.
Alrighty.
Powering up my daggers as well.
Good. You guys ready?
I don't need power ups. I am the power up.
You're the power up to the whole group, right? Let's get it.
I'm gonna demonstrate that by dying first.
I can just, while we're loading, I have a question in chat asking if all enemies are from mythology, or if some of them have been just straight up made up, or do all of them have some mythology anchor to them.
Yeah, so some of them are from mythology directly. That would be things like Adoneus is an obvious one. Hipparchia is not from mythology, but she's a sort of historical character. The Pythian priestess is halfway between made up and real. So there was an oracle from Pythia, but she's like made up for the purposes of this game. So she serves her own sort of purpose, and she's got her own lore. And then the Athanati, which are these sort of grunt-like guys that you see everywhere with the sort of the shields and the axes and the swords, the guys that you see everywhere. These ones are based on real mythology as well. Athanati just means the Immortals. Excuse my pronunciation, my anglicized pronunciation. Yeah, so lots of the characters are based on real mythologies, but then there are others that are completely my own creation. So the Katharau, that's based on a biblical Greek word that means beholder. So, and that whole level is kind of my sort of made-up creation. So there's a few, that are just completely our own.
It's also called the layer of the beholder, right? Is what her...
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
area is
So
like.
her level, her domain is the layer of the beholder.
Right.
We have another question also. Like, how does the difficulty scale based on the number of players? Do you get more enemies, or do your existing enemies take more damage?
That sounds like one for Regan. What do you think about that, Regan?
What was the question? Sorry, I couldn't hear you too well.
I can repeat it.
Yeah.
How does the difficulty scale based on the number of players? Do you get more enemies, or do your 16 enemies take more damage?
Yeah, so it's actually it's sort of a mixture. So the game has there's kind of a director, you could call him. It's not a person, but they're constantly monitoring sort of how many enemies there are, what objectives it thinks the players should do, and it will, like they suggested, it will change how many enemies are being spawned, and also what type of enemies and where to spawn them, and that kind of thing. And also the randomized objectives that you have to complete in each area scale based on the number of players as well. So in some objectives we might need to free a priest from a sarcophagus, but you might need to do that, say, multiple times for if you're in a big party. So really try and up the challenge with multiple players, because you gain so much more power by having your friends around. But at the same time, we wanted it to be playable as solo as well. So there's a lot of dynamic scaling happening, and it's all happening sort of in real time. So even when you die, there's one less player, so there's actually this one director sort of reacts to that. So because otherwise, if you had 4 players in your team but 3 dead friends, you'd be instantly overwhelmed by the number of enemies we spawn. So it's like always reacting to the situation that's happening.
I hope that answers the question. So I actually learned about the adaptive feature while I was writing a ticket, because I think I was complaining that I was playing with 3 players, but only one of the Minotauros spawned and nobody ambushed me. But it was basically just because my 2 teammates died before, and so Regan didn't overwhelm me with Minotauros, but rather gave me just 1 that I could fight.
Yeah, I mean, it could have given you 3 if you really want.
Nice. Okay. I'll manage. Yeah. So now what you can see is basically to commenting on the gameplay a little bit. We cleared the first area. We're now in the temple. I picked up the torch, which is the main objective here, to burn this whole thing down. What you can see in a second, what I skipped earlier, what would have been maybe nice to explain, is the cards that were popping up, right? I think these are a key element to the progression for our parish. So after each objective, about now, I think, you have a little card selection popping up that gives you a selection of 3 random cards to pick from that increase your power, right? So there's different builds you can do. You can build for the daggers, you can build for your ranged weapon or melee weapon. The cards would also differ a little bit depending on which one you're fielding. And you have stuff that gives you survivability, and in each run you kind of have to craft the layout that you want to go for with this run. And it also depends, if you get a few dagger cards early, then you're prone to do a dagger build. If you get survivability, maybe that's your choice. So there's really, every run differs a little bit in the approach that I take, at least for me.
Yeah, that's it. Daggers can sometimes be a bit overlooked as a tool, but when you invest in them, they quickly become one of the most powerful tools in the game. And I think I was watching a stream earlier where a guy was making a dagger build, and he was just loving it, because he was like, look at them just flinging daggers left, right, and center.
Yes.
Nothing can stop me.
Yep.
So yeah, Perish is a game of sort of crafting your build. So find the equipment, make enough money to buy it, and then craft the perfect character to get you to the end game.
Just try to kick somebody in the spike traps on stream. Oh yeah. I got it because it's so fun.
That's the best. Yeah, the kick.
Has to be one
Spent
of
a long time
The
on the
money
kick.
shot right there.
one of my favorite things to do in this game is just kicking these guys around.
I've noticed the Dark Messiah card has already been pretty popular.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's definitely.
Yeah, so I think the daggers are
Oh, no.
actually very, very overlooked.
Come on, Jake.
and from the game time, I can tell you,
Sorry.
dagger builds, pretty fun,
Oh,
pretty strong.
Yeah, I've got one going now. I actually got I've got all the dagger upgrades from the Pantheon, but I also got the Devil Daggers card. Another shout out to another game we were sort of inspired by. So I've got you usually might have 3 or 6 or 12 regenerating daggers, but I've got now 100, and I can throw them at fully auto speed. So as soon as we get to a boss, I'm going to melt them with my rain of
you
daggers.
can
unload.
Gonna
Annihilate them.
absolutely unload, yeah.
Maybe touching on this briefly,
Storm daggers.
because I saw a question of it earlier. These are, we call them airlocks, which they aren't really. I think, Brad, what was the correct word for them?
Idrima, which just means, it sort of means sanctuary.
Yep.
So yeah, basically safe house, just like Left 4 Dead, really.
So these are the safe spaces, kind of. So if you need to take a break, grab a coffee, grab some fresh air after a very, very intense level, this is where you can do it before you click this priestess and continue with it.
Indeed.
Speaking of Left 4 Dead, I think, Laura, do you want to read the question? I think we have a question that actually involves Left 4 Dead, so maybe a good handover so I can concentrate on playing, because it's actually very difficult.
That's why I'm here. Yeah, it was about the question before about the enemies and the UI director. Did you know that this AI director or mode existing one?
Oh, I see. So yeah, so the idea to make an AI director was inspired by Left 4 Dead, because they actually wrote a research paper on it that I read like quite a number of years ago. So that's sort of where I got the idea of this like system. But I had to make it completely from scratch, since it needs to know specific things about Perish. So yeah, it's all made again just by me.
Yep, so shout out to the guy or girl in chat. You were spot on with the Left 4 Dead thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just said that's amazing. So
Right, so now we have one of the objectives, I think, that Regan touched on earlier. For example, this one, in single player, you will only spawn one of these sarcophagi. But if you play with oh my god, we lost them.
First death.
Oh, Joe, first death.
Man down.
Man down.
I shouldn't have said it. I jinxed it.
You made it 3 levels though.
It's an improvement.
It's getting pretty crowded here,
Improvement
right?
on the 1 level.
You got slightly less gear than us as well. I'm like fully kitted out.
Yeah, full disclosure, after 300 hours, I do have like, everything that I could possibly want. And yet, I still chose to not wear any health rings, so my health
He
is
never does.
quite low.
That just likes the hard mode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's too easy.
oh dear, yeah. Now
got
I've
that.
said that, I'm on 1 health.
Yeah, never say anything. Never say
I'm
it.
also just getting nuked by the lightning accolades.
Getting beaten by your own game.
I got a shield here, guys.
No.
Get in here. Yeah, touching on
That actually saved my life, this drop shield.
Gotcha. I got you. I have another one. So, yeah, touching on the game a little bit more, because I'm used to playing it, so I have to learn myself explain some stuff. What I'm using here is drop shields, right? So you have several consumables that you can choose from. You can get them in the shop. They all fulfill their own purpose. For example, I like using the drop shield quite a lot, because at some points in the game you will have to stand still or be stationary. So these help out quite a lot. And also your whole team can use them, so you're kind of a team player if you use them. But there's also other stuff like grenades that you can use, jars where you can make the enemies slip and stuff like this. So kind of customize this at the start of your run, or I cannot show you because I don't have everything unlocked. but with the treasure chest, maybe you guys wanna. I'm calling treasure chest. How is it called again? Brett, I'm sorry. I'm so bad with names.
Brett knows the proper name.
Oh yeah. Again, my pronunciation is awful, but let's go anglicized. Zagastron is the kind of treasure chest. Oh, it means strong box really. And the strong box contains items that you've previously bought at the Pantheon shop. So you found them in the world, you've bought them in the shop. Let's say you're doing a run and you've got the axe for a bit like I did, but then you go into a big level like we were just in, and I could probably have used the sniper in that level. So there's a chance that the Zagastron will show me, it will show me a weapon that I might want to take with me. So there's always a chance of swapping out weapons in between levels, which is good.
So this is
Very
this
useful.
one. This one that you're talking about. You can also swap out consumables or refill consumables or crowns. So pretty much everything that you have unlocked, anything that you have unlocked can spawn this chest. So you can switch out your loadout during a run a little bit. Which
Yeah.
also proves
You have to
interesting.
make a single choice out of the options you're provided.
The name of the box is here. So for you guys to
Oh,
pronounce
yeah,
it
it
right,
is.
you can read it right here.
Yeah, sure. Just read the ancient Greek.
Yeah. Good. We got Joe back. Hello there.
Yeah, he's back.
So if
Yeah,
your
so
team
actually,
makes
when
it,
when you're
yeah.
resurrected in an airlock, so if we were friends, where any of your friends make it to the next airlock to get to the next level, you actually get revived, so you can rejoin their journey. But you lose all your cards that you've accrued, and a lot of your money that you picked up as well. But it's not all bad, because you also get a what we call a comeback card, and they're like some of
Yeah.
the most powerful cards in the game. So it's almost always, well, it really is always a good selection of choices, and some are even specifically only comeback cards.
I'd say this level as well is a good one for hunting down a few secrets.
Oh, yeah.
So you can always
Absolutely.
It's a good lore, good place to pick up some lore.
I can spoil one.
And we might eventually come across a treasure chest, which is where you unlock the weapons.
Yeah, so this level has a few secrets. It has... Yeah. I'm not gonna spoil it. We're gonna let people
Mysterious.
find out. About all of it. You can find stuff here. Then we have the Catharau that we talked about earlier.
Yes, this is the Catharau, the beholder.
Regan in a mocap suit. With Joe
Yeah.
screaming.
They're screaming. And these little guys as well, the pyres,
These fellas right here.
they're dangerous.
Pro tip, by the way,
I've
that I learned
only got a
from...
melee weapon.
You can block them. You can block...
You can block them, yeah. You can kick them and it will interrupt them.
This, actually I was about to say this. This is a pro tip that I learned from Regan
Yeah.
in one of our streams. Is that you can kick those and they will be interrupted.
Exactly.
Oh my god, I can kick while blocking.
You can, yeah.
Oh, I've
sure
never
can,
noticed
yeah.
that before.
That's the one thing really important to us. You can kick at any time. There's nothing that stops you, even reloading.
I lost her. Where is she? Oh, there she go.
Oh dear, I am gonna die. I'll let you guys handle this one.
You got this.
Don't worry.
On backseat
Oh, dear.
gaming.
Oh my god.
Right, she's spawning ads. Get him.
I could throw my daggers from afar, so it's fine.
Right.
There you go.
No.
You
Uh,
gotta.
Worth mentioning as
Yeah.
well that she doesn't die.
She never dies. She's not gone.
She just leaves the realm, doesn't she?
Yes, she leaves this realm.
Hey guys, one of the chat said the video we need to have more video games that need a kick ability.
It's pretty
Yes,
fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
Especially with the Dark Messiah card, right? You can just kick people. Or you can also kick people off ledges. Also something
You can.
worth trying.
Ledges,
Yeah.
spikes, boiling water.
Right, yeah. You can...
So many traps to kick people into.
Yep.
We have another question. We have another question. Do I
Oh, it's a
have to
secret.
have friends to play this, or is there a matchmaking?
Yeah, so you can host public games, and anyone can join them. You can even, or if you want, you might find you can join other people's public games. So
That's great.
yeah, even if you don't have friends to play it with, you can still find people to play it with. But at the same time, it was important to us that it's playable solo as well. So there will never be a time where you couldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the great part of Parish. You can play solo, or you can play with friends, or you can play with anybody else.
Exactly. Oh, I'm gonna get a shuffle. I can actually shuffle my selection of cards to get some new ones. So I don't like my. Oh, I'm glad I did. I've got explosive daggers.
Ooh, dagger build coming in clutch.
My dagger build is going to be insane.
I just added poison damage to all my attacks.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh my god. Poor Phobos and Deimos are gonna just get nuked.
Yeah, we're powered up.
Yeah, but yeah, that's also something we're playing on. Maybe in the nice info is we're playing on Forgiving, so we can chat with you guys without being completely overrun, and we're pretty decked out. So, that's why maybe at some points it seems like this is a walk in the park, but also we have combined 1,000 hours. That's certainly
I'm a
hours.
little bit nervous. This
Yes?
bit's a little bit harder. I'm worried that I'm gonna
Don't worry, we'll get you back
lose it
every
again. I'm
time
gonna die.
Okay, so Regan's gonna just carry us through this.
with my bow.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick very close to you guys this time.
I have drop shields, so if you're in danger, you can just scream.
Yeah, I think it's quite good for this objective actually.
I leave it up for
especially when we
you.
have them placed.
Cyber screaming, I just leave to you. Or Brad.
Yeah, it's quite a big part of the game, I think, where because you sort of you replay a lot of the levels doing different objectives, and you come back with more powerful gear, so you get to have the experience of crushing a lot of the places that you struggled with when you first started the game. And I think it's some of the most satisfying time I have with it, because you just feel you feel so powerful, and then you get later in the game again, and the enemies start catching up with you in power.
Yep. It's ramping up quite a bit.
Yep.
Maybe it's a few words to what you just saw on stream is I, throughout this run, unlocked both abilities of the weapon. So each weapon has an active and a passive ability. And for the Zorikos that I'm using, I have unlocked both of them. You can unlock them through different tasks, pretty much. So all of them, if you use tab, on the top left corner you can see the tasks. And I think for the Zorikos I had to land... No, I need to kill enemies from afar, I think. And kill enemies in quick succession.
Yeah.
And then I unlock the upgrades. And if you will... Hopefully, if I'm...
Oh, no. Oh, you got him.
God, he died again.
Just as we
I
killed.
lost all 3 health bars.
Yeah, she's tough. If she has a grab attack that will really poison you down.
I got hit from all angles.
Yeah, you got cut off and separated.
I got him.
Who did?
Yeah, so if you see my weapon glowing like this, this means my active upgrade is currently available. And this will be like this for every weapon, right? If your weapon starts glowing, this means your active ability is ready and you can use it.
Yes, exactly.
And the reddish glow is empowerments through cards. For example, I have a card that if I dash, my weapon will, the next attack will be stronger, that's why it glows red. So, weapon is a good indicator on the damage you're about to deal.
The little bit of lore in here. These creatures in here are Ophidians, which basically just means little snake people. Again, we're using a bit more obscure lore, so we're talking about Ophion. So you might have heard of Ophid's egg, which is a symbol of an egg with a serpent wrapped around it. So we decided to flesh that lore out a little bit more and have this sort of crazy labyrinthine serpentine area where we've got the Lamia, which we interpreted. The Lamia comes in different forms in mythology, and I decided to go with her as kind of like a larger serpentine creature. And then we have the Ophidians as well. And there's some fun lore entries about all of this as well.
Yeah, I can showcase this maybe. I can maybe have a look at the codex on stream later to show you where you can find all the lore stuff, should you be interested in it.
Yeah.
Which I think you should be, because it's awesome.
And if you find lore and all that kind of stuff, just effluvium, you don't have to look at it. You can just, slice and dice your way all the way to the end, or you can collect all the pieces. It's totally up to you.
Yep. Alrighty. Just get you guys out of here.
I'm a little bit behind because I was hunting for a pickup.
Oh, the Sorokos changed. Sorokos, maybe I have to rethink my favorite weapon choice because Sorokos really feels good. Now
Yeah,
that I'm
yes.
playing it again.
Great.
Maybe a little bit of history on that gun. It was a single shot rifle, and everyone was like, "Why do we need a single shot rifle when you've got a pistol?" So we thought, I think it was,
Sniper.
I can't remember whose idea it was. Was it Yannick's or yours, Felix? I can't remember.
I think it was a group project. Let's
Yeah.
call it that.
Someone said, "Let's have semi-auto," so that's what we did, and that made it the weapon of choice.
Yeah, because I mean we had the Sophos, right, which was a revolver single shot thing, and
Yes.
we have the Boreas, which is a sniper rifle, like a bolt action rifle, I think.
Exactly.
So the
yeah.
Sorokos kind of felt like a little bit not unique enough, but I know we found a burst style weapon that fits very well.
Absolutely.
Right, we got Joe back.
back.
Yep. Howdy.
Did you get a nice?
But for how long?
Oh, so far.
He was just enjoying the music.
For example, here, I think something to touch on maybe is that these cards, these comeback cards, can be very powerful to you or to your team, and I think Joe just picked the one that's very powerful for the team. He picked the team restore card, which means should we manage to make it through this objective, I think if we keep Joe alive through this objective, everybody will gain full health.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's pretty fun.
Here we go.
We can do it. Stay alive, Joe.
Good luck,
Wanna try?
guys.
Oh, look at it.
You'll need it.
We have vegans.
Look at my dragons.
Oh my god, I give you a shit.
Oh, brilliant. This shows the power of daggers. If you
Oh my God.
defocus
I'm so
focus on the
proud of
daggers.
Wow.
Vegan just straight up abusing the game.
There you go.
He just nuked the
Wow.
guy. Oh my god.
If only,
was
if
easy.
only there was another
boys.
boss.
Pats on backs.
We made
Yeah, we're
it,
done.
guys. Let's
Congratulations,
go.
everyone.
Good job.
GG.
Yeah, well
GG's
done.
all round.
That's it. But
I'll put the kettle on.
Wait, who's that?
Oh no!
That's pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
Here we go.
Get him.
This part, I just love it. It's so cool, so well done.
Hey, we noticed the music changed too, right? So this area has
Yeah, that's
At
one of the
least two.
moments that I love.
this area has 3 soundtracks, right? Probably the entry one when you get the astrolabes, then Phobos
Yeah.
has one, and Sophos has one.
Exactly.
Phobos and Deimos. Sorry.
Oh, we're so powered up though.
Yeah, it's insane. These are not meant to drop that fast.
We've got all the end game
kinda-
gear.
This kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier about when you're coming through these areas again and you're all powerful. Like, when you first do this, it is not this easy. Like, it is not. It is a real challenge. So it's very satisfying coming back and doing it again and just being like, wow, just stomping on them. But yeah,
Yeah.
take that.
It's nice to
that.
breeze through and show everyone, you know, what each level is like as well, because
Looks.
at the beginning,
And we don't want to be dying in every area.
yeah, at the beginning you start with a broken sword, and you got to work your way up from there, and that's
beginning is
fun.
very
But you've got to
challenging.
make sure you go back and forth between the game and back and forth between Purgatory and Pantheon in order to make the money to get the weaponry that we are currently displaying. But once you get it, you can breeze through these first levels, which is a good thing because you know you want to
There we
be
go, we've
able
got
to
our
get
full
to,
heal.
you want to be able to get to the mid game stuff by this point. You know you want to make a concerted effort to sort of see the end game.
Oh my god, I got devil daggers.
Hey
Nice.
guys,
And
I
everybody's
have
full.
another question. Are there any big difference between the demo and the game release? Well, of course.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
There's. Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah, there's some quality of life stuff. Lots of feedback. Obviously, we implemented levels that are missing, obviously, from the demo that you might have seen here.
Yep.
So there's a couple of levels that aren't in the demo.
Yep.
And then obviously the whole rest of the game.
Yeah, I think the demo stopped
big
right
thing.
here, right? After the first boss.
It-
That's
Yeah, the demo even
That's
misses
also-
some of the earlier levels.
Yep.
We secretly skipped some in the demo, so there's even more content in the areas that you will have played if you have played the demo.
Yeah. The demo
What
also has
percentage of the
some.
game?
Sorry, what were you saying, Joe?
I was going to say, so what percentage of the game do you think we're at now that is just contained in the demo compared to the whole game?
I think we're less than halfway through the game.
yeah, so I think
sure.
the demo was probably a third of the levels, I think, that we have.
Yeah, maybe even slightly less if you don't count the levels that were excluded from the demo
True.
in the
Nice.
section that it sort of covers, because we sort of give you a taste of some later levels in the demo. So
Yeah, and we
there's
cut a
even
couple
more.
out. and-
Exactly, yeah.
So if you like what you see, go to Steam or go to GOG and get it.
Right, so where we're heading into now will be a new area that you haven't seen in the demo. And also, just that I'm looking at it, we have a little scoreboard up here that's updating throughout the run, so you can
Oh, who's
also
doing
be,
the best? Yeah.
because he
Oh,
was
well.
doing best.
Felix is beating
Obviously,
me.
Felix
I-
with his 600 hours.
I'm pretty sure that I've farmed these on the Ophidians. I just killed them. So that's pretty fun if you want to challenge.
I've
friends.
swapped my bow out for the Boreas as well, because I think it works really well in this area.
That is, yeah, true.
Going for those headshots.
Another update from the demo, just worth mentioning as well, I was going to mention it earlier, is quite a few weapons have had a model update just to reflect
True.
the
Yeah.
final state of the game, so you can have fun with those.
Yeah, some very specific feedback we got about the first axe in the game. They were like, "Oh, it feels a bit small," so we were like, "Okay, now it's massive." That's exactly the kind of feedback I love.
And now it actually matches its namesake. It's,
The lore,
so
right?
it's a true eponym, because Librius means double-edged axe, basically. So what we initially had was a hatchet, which is a single-bladed axe. So that's not right. So now we've got the correct looking axe.
These, by the way, are the mysterious swinging axes.
Oh yeah, they're problematic ones.
Live in
Not
action.
anymore.
Lots of axes.
Just these two. And all the spikes, so you can kick stuff into spikes right here. Alrighty.
Sorry, excuse me, I was getting carried away, slicing away.
No worries. I'm talking about the bladed,
Slice it,
double-bladed
bro. Keep
axe.
slicing.
Slice them. Is this also you, by the way, speaking?
Yes.
It is,
Oh.
yeah.
I love it.
You know, when you're an indie team, you just gotta.
Yeah. It's insane, yeah.
You gotta do it.
I'm sniping these.
Oop. I think
Nice.
these Kurai
Good job, guys.
also have
Yes.
quite the development throughout development. That doesn't make sense. But yeah. I think these
Yeah,
also were
definitely. They're
some,
quite a complex enemy.
yeah. These are also some feedback that we got, I think internal from the QA here. We had different people test it, and these were way too strong in the beginning. So now I think that brought us to the whole iteration of enemies that spawn have a quick spawning animation, because it felt very frustrating that they were spawning and instantly attacking you, right? So I think it's also some feedback they've integrated that made the whole spawning stuff much more reliable
Yes, indeed.
and fun to play and matching difficulty. So now they
Go the
have
big boys.
Yep. So now they have this where they open their visor if they spawn, and if you're fast enough, you can kill them before they start running at you. Because if they start running at you, you have a problem.
Yeah, they're fast. Much faster than the player.
Yeah. Oh my god, tanky. Get him away from me.
Okay, grab line.
Okay, got one. You guys. Get the other one.
Nice.
All right.
Pretty good. Oh, Dark Messiah.
That was all me.
I'll take it. Thank you.
All the credit.
Ooh. I restored a unit of health.
That saved me a bunch of times throughout testing. Seems like minimal, but actually at the right point in time, 1 health can make all the difference.
Yep.
Just
Makes
trying
all
to
the difference.
get out of it.
Oh! And I just lost it.
I believe in you.
I think without,
Oh no.
maybe without
I
spoiling
went the
too
wrong
much.
way.
Come on, Joe. I'll come get
I
you.
went
I
the
think
wrong
this
way.
is an area that Brett touched on earlier. That can have different layouts depending on the quests you're running into or the.
Yeah, it's actually quite a large area, and we sort of send you into different parts of it,
Yep.
depending on the objective that gets chosen.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
instead of having like brand new areas each time or any like procedurally generated stuff, we wanted to make something that felt more like a campaign to play.
Yep.
But each time you go into these areas, you'll find new sort of pathways through that level, so it'll feel different, and of course different objectives as well.
There's another question in chat. Maybe Laura can chime in. Is she available?
Yes, I'm here. The question is, was the shotgun challenge to unlock a full auto in the demo? This person was trying to find more info on the enemies, but he couldn't find much.
I think what this question is aiming at is which enemies you need to kill for the shotgun unlock, right?
Yes, I think those enemies weren't in the demo.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we wanted
Yeah,
to
you put
give people the shotgun in the demo as a lot. It was in the sort of a post original demo release update.
Yep.
But yeah, we couldn't quite change the. So we gave you a preview of the shotgun, but you couldn't quite unlock all of the upgrades for it
Yep.
in the demo. But you can
you should
obviously
be
in
able
the
to
full
do
game.
that now. Yeah.
So you're right. It wasn't possible to unlock it in the demo. It's possible now. I think you need. Which ones do you need? I think you need
It's
these.
the curate. I
Kure,
believe.
right? The
believe
metal
so, yeah.
ladies. These ones. Oh, there's one right here.
That's it. Yeah. These golden maidens. Curé, Christier.
The
Once
first
you,
time when I saw these creatures, I was like, oh wow, those are so cool. And suddenly the mask opens and then they have these green faces,
yeah,
and I was
it's very
like,
scary.
damn!
Yeah,
It's very
Whoa!
scary if you're standing too close.
you
to
don't
them.
want to see what's behind that mask.
Yeah.
Yep.
so
I think I can briefly maybe show the codex. I have not found all the entries, right? But if you found all of them, you can read about them. And it looks like this. So just opening the Catharau entry, for example, here. And you can read all the lore to it. You can see immunities and weaknesses. And you can look up the enemies that you need to defeat in order to unlock stuff. Same goes for weapons. You can unlock world, location, rights, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, the codex is Brett's playground, and there's a lot to discover there.
My
Good way to
domain.
describe it. Yeah.
Good. What do you guys think? Showed some
Yeah,
stuff, played some. I think
Do you guys want to head back to Pantheon? Maybe we could show off one more objective cycle, show how objectives change
Yeah.
in the same area.
Yeah.
I can briefly give an eye to our production team. Guys, what do you think? Right, I got the thumbs up for another little run, so at least maybe we can at least make it to Catharau or something.
Yeah.
Show some new objectives. Maybe I switched the weapon. Let me see. Do I have some fun stuff in here?
Enter the portal.
I switched to the rally crown, I think, and just unlock this one on the run.
Might do an Orphic Rite as well. I'm going to do an Orphic Rite. I'm going to do the Persephone.
We have other question in the chat. It says, any secret bosses currently or maybe planned? Da da da.
Secret boss. I don't think we have secret bosses, do we?
No secret bosses. But I think some of the end game stuff can maybe feel that way.
Yep.
But yeah, it's definitely like a linear story along the way. But yeah, no super secret bosses. It's all there for the taking.
Good. I think what Brett just touched on is the Orphic rights. I think you also touched upon these at the very beginning of the stream. We were talking about the whole story, right? The Orphic stuff. So I equipped
Yes.
one, which is kicking Athanatoy, pronunciation, into spike traps. So you can get these in the shop. You can equip them and fulfill the ride. And then you'll get rewards for it, like new items, new unlocks, new weapons. Definitely something to keep an eye out for and take on your journey. Try to finish them.
Exactly.
You can see all of it in the top left corner of my HUD here. Dionys's ride, kick 25 Athanatoy into the spike traps. So tab is always a good place to look for information if you need it. And below it you can see the upgrades that I need for my X. So for the Labris. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready to roll.
See you kicking each other behind the shop. All right.
Couldn't help it.
Then I'll showcase some melee gameplay.
Yeah, so I've decided to pick an even later stage weapon. So this one's very OP.
Oh, you have the melee weapon. Speed that. Right.
Exactly, let's be there.
So new objective here. Earlier we had to defeat one of the Spendthrift bosses or champion.
That's it, the Orphic champion. So we had to kill the Orphic champion in the last one, and now we are lighting some braziers. Again, this is the first level in the game, so you can breeze through it in that sort of classic roguelike fashion. And I think there's about 3 or 4 objectives in this one. And it sort of carries on that vein throughout. There are a couple of special levels though, where there's just one objective. I think there's a couple of levels that have a kind of special moment going on. So you'll have to steel yourself in that bit because it's quite intense. But that's later on, so I won't talk about that too much.
Something for you guys to discover. For example, this time I picked because now I'm in the melee, my card selection will differ, and I picked the, oh my god, Testudo formation, is that right?
Yeah.
Which gives me a shield if I stay close to other people, and as we have two other people that have melee weapons, we can kind of, build a front line, we'll get a shield for it. Which you can now see in the icon that Brett described earlier when we were talking about UI indication stuff. So now my character has a little helmet on, meaning I'm shielded against damage for 1 hit. So
Yeah, there's a lot of cooperative items and different ways to help each other and build around each other as well.
Yep. There's damage boost is there as well, right? Shields. And now you also can see, I just bought the Aklis, I bought another crown, and now I have more choice here in the strong box that I can choose from. But I don't want to switch my weapon, so I keep this one.
We have another question in the chat, and it says, what was your favorite boss or enemy to make?
Oh my gosh. I think, it's so hard to say because I think overall I made maybe over 20 different enemy types. So we basically have a new enemy each level. Who did I like the most? Ooh, without spoiling. Well, I think it's not too bad actually. It's not super spoiler because you get to see him in the trailer. All right, I like the Cavaracos, the Cavaraki, because they are enormous hulking crab men, crab knights basically, and I love silly stuff like that, and he just looks great. I think he looks great anyway. I had a lot of fun sculpting him, and
That was very cool.
I like the way he moves. He's got a groove.
And what was the meaning of Kavaraki in Greek?
That's basically another way of saying little crab.
Yeah, it's like baby crab, isn't
Baby
it?
crab, and
He's like
gigantic.
one of the largest
Oh,
enemies.
that's so cute.
He's one of the most
Yeah.
difficult to defeat enemies as well because he has weak spots, right? You cannot just
Yeah,
shoot him,
can't
but you have
hurt
to
him
hit.
anyway.
That's right. Yeah. So he has his chitinous armor.
Oh my
and
god. Regan destroyed the Eidolon but didn't kill it. It's running away. Get it. Get it. Ooh,
Oh,
nice
long range shot.
Damn. Well, that's the sniper in action for you right there.
Yeah.
It's such a temptation to just keep playing. I want to get to the end.
I mean, you have the whole evening to play.
Not the whole
Yeah,
evening.
More perish.
Hey, I'll probably go to bed. I'll save it.
Back tomorrow.
I've been really enjoying watching people play. Our Korean friend played it since the moment it came out. He's got the bad ending.
Oh,
He's got the
let's,
You know it's 4 a.m. in Korea.
let's see.
Oh,
if
well
he-
done.
Let's
That's
see if
amazing.
he figured out what to do.
Yes.
Oh my god. I dashed right into it. Right, one more Eidolon, I think. Right? One more?
I
One
believe
more.
so, yeah.
When you say the bad ending, what do you mean by that?
Well, you'll have to play and find out if maybe you'll get the good ending when you play. You know, you'll have to see.
It all depends on the manner in which you conduct yourself.
There's two endings to the game, of course.
okay.
Right? And yeah, there's a way to get one or the other. Which is on you to figure out though. Otherwise that wouldn't be fun. Melee is much more stressful for me. I know Fabian,
Yeah.
for example, plays melee, like, he prefers melee over ranged,
Yeah, it's quite a personal preference.
but I much rather have the range ones. Although you can, what's pretty strong is that you can block almost anything, right? In the game, you can block
Yeah,
ranged
yeah, you
attacks,
can block.
You can block.
Yeah, almost
These-
anything in the game. I think the only exceptions is sort of environmental things like the spikes
Yep.
that jut out and hit you.
Yeah.
You can block
I think there's a
this-
couple of bosses that have really big weapons as well, and
Yeah.
maybe you might need to use a bit of movement to get out of their way as well.
Oh, they have.
Yeah, really, if you can time your locks well, you can it gives you a bit of survivability. But then the downside is you have to be next to them
Yep.
to do any damage.
And then you have
It's
something
all
like
about timing.
the Cathara that spawns just for explosive pyres. And then
Exactly.
you're
Yeah,
in
that's
for a world
quite
of hurt.
quite a counter to the melee weapons.
I have not kicked too many Athagoid in spike traps yet.
I suppose it's worth saying as well, there's quite a lot of Steam achievements for the game as well, which is fun.
Oh, there's a ton of them, yeah.
Yeah, we've got 63,
63.
What achievement hunters out there?
and I've only got 58.
Shame.
Yeah. And I personally, I
close.
don't know what you guys
Almost.
think, but I really like achievements because, well, firstly, I like making the art for them. So you got these little, these little icons.
Yeah.
So I made sure they were each. I spent a fair amount of time on them. And secondly, they're like little milestones in the game, right? Because this is a game about making milestones, failing, and then making another milestone, and then failing, and then finally you can sort of get to the end.
You can
So-
find some hints in there to some of the more secretive aspects of the game as well. So if you
Yeah,
scour
yeah,
through
it's
the
just like-
objective descriptions, you might learn something.
Another
do-
fun extension
I
of
do the
lore and all
absolute
that.
cheat run here. And just parkour over the statues
Oh yeah.
without trying to hit the lava because I'll get burned to death. Oh, I forgot the
Oh my god, these
Wheels.
exploding daggers are so good.
Yeah, the explosive daggers are really good.
Ooh, that's also pretty something to talk about maybe is because I saw it earlier in some Steam feedback, I think. The people who struggled with the what are they called? The Furies, right? Or the Laser Friends.
Oh
Yes. Yes, the theories.
And I think at the beginning of the game, like you said before, you tend to underestimate the daggers, and these very your best friends in this area, trying to get down the
Absolutely.
Furies.
Yeah.
I think if with two well-timed daggers, you can shoot them from the sky. So
Yeah, the drop shield can be really helpful for them as well because
Also,
it
yeah.
blocks their lasers.
I want to pick somebody down the ravine. This guy. Great.
Does anybody else
Goodbye.
just constantly
what a
jump
kick.
everywhere?
Oh
I
yeah,
find
all
it so
the time.
satisfying.
Yeah.
It's really, really
Just
fun.
like, I'm playing a kangaroo build right now.
I'm trying to do
Yeah.
it not that much, but usually I do.
Oh, I've
I
unlocked
can't-
the scope for my sniper now, even longer range.
I can't think of a game in which I don't constantly jump.
Just yeah.
Wait, did you hit the Eidolon without this the scope?
I did, yeah.
Wait,
Just
that
hit
was
fired
insane
it.
shot. Damn. Alright.
Right, we gotta get in here.
This is actually one of the more difficult objectives, right? Because you don't have not a lot of space, lots of enemies,
I'm
but
trying to make my way back in without dying. I'm trying to find it.
grab shields.
There we go.
Get in the shield.
I've got the relentless rage consumable is really helpful as well because I can use it to keep me alive.
Yeah.
Gives you some invulnerability for a short time.
Oh, also, a good pro tip, if you will, for the Furies, they make this little dingling sound, so playing with sound definitely recommended. Not only for the music, but they announce themselves pretty clearly
They
if they
do, yeah.
spawn, and then you can just, if it dingles, if you hear the bell ring, search for the flying guy, and then get
Guess
him
who
out.
just died?
Perfect drop shield though.
Hey guys, we have a special
what-
message in chat. It's from Mickey saying, love you guys. Oh my god, you're still slaying.
Yeah.
A little bit more. I think I
I
went.
have to say, it's so good to see you playing. It's like, wow, amazing. That's so
I
good.
think we're gonna slay the
Kicking people
Catharal.
and killing them.
We'll probably go slay
Oh yeah.
the Catharal.
That reminds me,
and-
it's worth saying thanks for everyone who's watching right now. Thanks for watching us play our
Oh,
game.
definitely. We didn't do that at all. Yeah. Thanks for all the questions too, right? There was some very,
Absolutely.
very, very nice and interesting questions that got us some interesting topics. So, almost got sniped. We lost Brad, right?
He died.
Yeah,
Oh my god, my dropship was too late. Couldn't save him.
I know. I tried to make my way into it, but I ended up.
I cannot lose Joe as well.
You're doing well though.
Actually, drop shields not only useful
I'm
for
literally
standing
being
into it.
such a tryhard right now.
Drop shields not
Better get
only
in
good for
then.
standing in it, but also pretty
Oh.
good for just dropping them
Sorry, I
behind
carried
you.
away.
You know, to cut off the enemies. Welcome back.
Here we go. Resurrection card. What do I need? Probably a life shield.
I'll do some. Oh god. I like so many weapons. I was just about to say the spear is such a nice weapon, but I also said it about all
yeah.
the weapons I just used. Right. And now you can see my objective changed. So now I need to hit 3 javelins in a row to unlock this upgrade.
You can see most of us for this level because we know it already. We've all gone ranged because we know that that's.
Yeah, we know what's coming.
Yeah, that's why I picked the sword. Because I'm smart.
It does have a laser.
It is a laser sword. Yeah.
We have also Janik in the chat and say, love the new EOS. Does a great
Oh,
job
hey,
how you
Yannick.
finish the
Hey.
game. Hi, Janik!
I saw the name pop up, I'm like, I know this guy.
Yannick has spent a comparable amount of time helping us break the game and figure out how to make it as resilient
my
as we
God.
could.
I think that's just the fun part of QA, right? So you not only play the game, you try to break it and find where is the bug and where is the the tricky
Absolutely.
part.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe the number of videos
Oh,
I've
she's
got
coming for
of a poor QA person just walking along the edges of every wall, trying to find where they can sneak through.
Oh,
We got it. It's in the bag.
Yeah.
oh my
Just
god.
heading out of
That's
here.
so much
Lightning.
damage that time.
She looks like a porcupine with all the spears.
Yes.
Poor fella.
This unsettling realm is far from where we need to
Alrighty.
be, Pariah. Find a way out.
Well,
That was great. That was really fun. Thank you guys.
actually,
Yeah, thanks.
enjoyed it. Always fun playing with you guys. I think it's a well-oiled machine with all these hours. just running through it.
It's not-
Well-oiled machine.
Nice
I
to
like
Yeah,
finally,
that.
so used to it.
It's nice to finally get back to playing it again, even with my insane save. How much money do I have in the bank? Nearly 100,000.
Wow. Guys, we have another
Nearly
question.
100,000 done, I guess.
The next question is, what was the most challenging weapon to balance?
Ooh.
Good question.
That's a good question.
I think for a long
suppose.
time the Zeus conduits were, although you got them right at the end of the game, they were way too powerful.
They still are pretty powerful, but yeah, they were insane.
What were you going to say, Brett?
I was going to say the Sorokos again because we couldn't figure out whether we wanted it, to be like a single shot semi-auto rifle or what did we
Yeah,
want? And then we
it's funny because it was one of
finally
the first.
settled on the.
I think it was the first gun that ever went in the game, or even the first weapon, wasn't it?
It was the very first weapon in the game, yeah.
Hmm.
Back
Yeah,
when
so-
we were still trying to figure out what on earth Perish even was.
Yeah, so it's taken the longest time to sort of figure out what it should be, despite it being the first weapon we ever put in.
Yeah.
I think that one was difficult from the identity balancing perspective. From a damage perspective. Thinking about it. I know that I've crunched all the numbers because Regan was kind enough to implement a way for us to display the damage values. So we just sat there for hours on end, just shooting and hacking at at enemies, looking at the damage numbers and
Yeah.
figuring out where we need to up that and where we need to tune that down a little bit. So from a balancing perspective, I'm actually not sure.
Yeah, it's also quite hard to balance melee against rifles, and stuff like that, ranged weaponry,
Yeah.
because we've got it all really. We've got very close range melee weaponry. We've got javelin, which is like a weird mixture of melee and ranged,
Yeah.
called the Aklis, and then we have
It's the one I'm
you know,
fielding right now.
we've got the classic, we've got the pistol, we've got the shotgun, that kind of thing. We've got the sniper rifle. So it really does cross the whole gamut of sort of classic gaming weaponry. And that was a challenge to sort of make sure they all complemented each other.
I think actually what we noticed, what was most unbalanced during these tests was the Doric Tetos. Is that how you pronounce Doric Tetos?
Yes.
How you pronounce it? Because that's the one where you have your daggers spawning clusters of spears from the ground. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Regan, but I think every single spear from the ground did damage, so that kind of...
It did,
So
yeah.
if you hit a big model with it, it was just multiplying every single spear.
You
and
could
it
do
just,
like 10,000
yeah,
damage.
we
in a
just
single,
executed bosses with it.
single
So
dagger.
that was pretty funny.
Or there's ones where there are some special items that are sort of where you drop libations, which is sort of like wine,
Yep.
on the floor, and smaller enemies can like slip on this wine and it'll instantly kill them.
Yep.
And we had some of the bosses slipping on the wine and just instantly dying
Suddenly it's just,
as
just
they
gone.
ragdolled around. Yeah.
All right. I don't know, Laura, are you gonna stop by here again? And then we probably, give these guys their well-deserved evening break. Does that sound
Yeah.
good?
Thanks everyone for watching.
I think we know. Give us a second. Yeah, thanks for watching, but let's give this stream a proper ending. Get Laura back in here.
Go out with a bang.
Going with a bang. Hopefully not. Oh, yeah, wait. Okay, guys, I'm gonna close this lobby so we can switch off to Discord. And
Sounds good.
We're here in a second. Oh, I still hear you. We're just gonna close the game. Wait. Alright, we got this. Then I need to go here. Everybody back? Yay! You can see us again. Hello. Guys are still
Hello.
there.
Well, that was
Back in the real world.
That
We're
was
back.
great. Good job, guys. It was a pleasure to see you playing Paris. Yeah.
So much fun.
Also, thank you, chat, for all these questions and the great commentaries and everybody there.
Thank you for having us on as well, letting us show off the game on this channel. So, yeah.
I think, yeah, like we said earlier in the stream, if you guys have feedback, if you guys have questions, if you just want to check out the game, talk to the guys. I think you are always reachable on the varying Discord channels that we have posted. We'll probably post again later.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
just go out there, ask the guys. They are very happy to help. If you have encountered any issues, also let us know. We will try to get you up and running. If you have anything, just reach out to us. We're happy to help.
If you want to join us on Discord, you can also write in the chat !Discord.
Right.
And if you want to follow us in our different channels, then you can go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We'll be there, and you will have news. And
Just reach out to us anywhere. Give us your feedback. We're very excited to see what you guys think of the game. And yeah, again,
Awesome.
big shout out to the guys. Awesome job.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you very much.
then I think we go to the next section. Giveaway.
All right, we
We
have
are going to
something in
give away
store.
a Steam key
Yes.
from Parish.
Nice.
So we have some lucky winner. I think Sydney is gonna handle that.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna sit here and see who wins the key. So somebody can open a lobby later, hop into some games, see if I'm not sure. You guys gonna play, or are you guys gonna just call it a day? And oh, I cannot hear
I cannot hear
you guys. I think Sydney might have just muted us.
Oh, we can hear you.
Now we can hear you again. Welcome back. So
Yeah, Regan was just saying he's just really enjoying watching other people play the game on Twitch and stuff like that, and it is quite fun for us as well because when we made the game we weren't sure are people going to get the game loop, but so far we watched lots of people they're running into objectives and then they're collecting a bunch of coins, Danakes, and they're going to take it back and they buy a weapon and they kind of get it, and it's fun. It's really fun for us to watch the game loop work.
nice. I was very scared too, from a QA standpoint. I know the game is done well, but like Regan said, it's a multiplayer game, and a lot of people are playing it. So I was torn between watching people play and be like, I hope they don't break it. I cannot watch this. But so far, we're holding up very, very good.
So far, so good. Okay,
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
So I think I'm going to do probably much the same. Head home, watch some people play the game,
Yeah.
and then back tomorrow
That's
to
not-
hear all the feedback.
Yeah, that's not to say we will be resting on our laurels because we'll be
No.
implementing lots of feedback and looking at what you've said and what kind of issues you've had. We're going to do our best. So I'll be active in the Steam discussions page as well,
Yep.
as well as the Discord, and so will Regan.
Yeah, a little reminder here, maybe.
there.
It's the two of you guys, right? So we'll probably take some time, collect some feedback, then have Regan do his programmer magic.
His magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
And then we'll get stuff ready for you guys, hopefully. Reacting to some feedback.
But
So,
nevertheless, this is an outstanding game. The graphics, the aesthetics, the location, the monsters, everything, the enemy, the chance to play solo or to play with 3 more friends. I think this is great. Yeah. And you have a little bit everything, no? You have a bit of exploring, you have fights, you have collecting, you have these roguelike elements. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've got the whole gamut.
go to Steam or go to GOG, get the game, play it.
okay. How are we looking on the giveaway? People can join the giveaway now. Just before, we have one eye on the chat. So if you type #parish in chat, you're eligible to win a parish key. You can do it right now. And then Zinni will choose a lucky winner. Meanwhile, we just give you a second to give everybody the chance to join.
Yeah, we will wait a few seconds. And then whoever is interested to get a key,
Can get one.
just write #parish.
I'm actually thinking if I have a question because
Oh.
like now I have the chance to talk to you guys. And I'm thinking if there's something that I've always wanted to ask, but I think I've chatted with you guys so much over the years. Oh, did
That's
you?
true.
I have a question for Joe actually. In the soundtracks, because I heard them a lot, is there any favorite instrument, or is there a weird instrument that you've hidden on the soundtracks
That's a
for specific sceneries? Because I know, for example, I think the Fissure has a very unique sounding soundtrack to me.
Oh, there is one instrument that I don't know. It's obvious to me, but I don't know if any people will notice it. Like, it's not really like in the right at the center of the song, but there's a didgeridoo at one point during one of the songs.
Do
You
you
can't.
have
It's
it there? Can you show us?
no. So I haven't played it. I found like some loops, and I found like some samples and stuff, and I managed to fit it in, and I manipulated the sound a little bit to make it sound absolutely like massive. And yeah, it works. It works really well. It works really well. But yeah, I think that's probably the only instrument I can think of off the top of my head that shouldn't really be there, but it is there and it works. So
Which track was it again? Do you know? Like for which area?
I can't remember the official name, but it's when you're on the boat.
Ah, okay.
When you're in the boat, when
yeah.
you're crossing.
Giant's
game.
Crossing.
Yeah.
That's actually my favorite song in the whole soundtrack.
Well, I have to listen.
Yeah, if you listen again, you'll hear it and you'll be like, "That's a didgeridoo."
Yeah, now I'll be like, oh,
Who would have thought?
I'll be damned. Right, I think we have one more question in chat that we can maybe get out there while we wait for the giveaway. It's Mr. Nightmare is asking, sorry, but side question. What made you guys go with the art style and direction?
Oh yeah, that's a fun one. Very first, Perish was kind of a bit more inspired by a little bit of maybe Bekshingski a little bit. That was really early on though, so we were just playing around trying to figure out what do I want this game to look like? Where do I want this to be set? And that was really early on. This was like before I even mentioned it to Regan, pretty much. And then I saw Scorn, and I thought, well, okay, that's Scorn. Let's leave the Bekshingski stuff to them, because that's, from an art point of view, that game is incredible. So, hats off to them. So I decided to just go back to something that I'm more familiar with, because I did philosophy at university. I did some ancient philosophy at university, so I thought, let's just play around with some like Greek myths and Roman myths and stuff like that. So I thought, I kind of want the game to have a bit of a Warhammer vibe, because obviously Warhammer also has lots of references to Rome and the Spartans and all that kind of thing. And I'm sure Warhammer fans will know a lot more about that than I will, but I love the kind of gritty, crunchy, oversized nature of those character models that they make. And they're a British company as well, so yay.
Perfect.
So I thought that would be fun to kind of somewhat emulate that style, but put a bit more of a kind of ancient spin on it. So, for example, with the Cure Crissier, I wanted them to look like the denizens of Hephaestus's palace, but I wanted them to be deadly and dangerous. So
That's the
I
balance.
took that. I pretty much took that direction because I haven't seen it so much. There's a game from a little while ago called Will Rock that takes it in that direction. And obviously Serious Sam with the ancient Egypt vibes. And then one of my favorite games, Talos Principle, that explores the kind of classic architecture. Obviously my architecture doesn't obey the rules of that architecture very much, because we've kind of twisted it into our own world.
Yep. All right, cool. I think he was very happy with that answer. Giveaway is closed as well, so thank you for the elaborate answer. That took,
Well,
made that.
we just had a
waiting and
winner,
more
and
enjoyable.
he's very, very happy.
Oh, nice. I hope he enjoys it.
I hope so too.
Enjoy the game. And yeah, well, talking about
A
giveaways,
little teaser, maybe
A
before
little
we
teaser.
close this up, we have a little bit of a teaser.
we have a giveaway upcoming worldwide, and yeah, there you have one of the
Look at this
phrases.
guy. Wait, maybe I
Yeah, just
look at it.
so 3D
Nice.
figure.
So we're giving away some of these.
Yes, and also keycaps. Maybe I will just give you because you have a lot of.
I have a lot of arms. I can send it to that. We have some keycaps. I think Brad already used them and found that they are very nice.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
we have a
let's
little.
see your
I
keyboard,
was
Brett.
playing it.
So cool.
Oh yeah, maybe. Wait,
My
we just
fun
focused on
keyboard.
me. Wait, we cannot see it. So these are the keycaps.
He's even
hard
got the
to-
lighting.
I can show.
Hard
closer.
to, it's hard to show because my cable's cut out.
It just wants to blur it out as well.
And
It just dropped one.
wait, give me these. And you know the WASD keycaps here. And I
And
think
the S.
you gotta stay tuned to our social media channels,
Should put
right?
that S on top.
Yeah.
Almost right.
Almost right.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
You get it. So how can
It's so crazy. The details of the figure is so cool.
it's modeled from Brad probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how do you guys get this? Or where can you win this? If we tease it, we have to say how you get it.
Well, we will announce it soon. We'll announce it soon, and for that you have to follow us on social media to know, to stay tuned, and get these beauties. Yeah, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and join us also on Discord.
Yep. I think
Hashtag,
Brad used them to some extent. Bob Catharau on the head if he tries to exit the program.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
every time I want to escape.
Yeah, like Zora said, stay tuned to social media. We will announce the giveaway soon. And
At Handy Games.
on Twitter.
And
Good.
of course, if you want to see again the trailer, go to our YouTube channel. And yeah, you will see also if you want to see this streaming as well.
Yep.
And also on Steam.
Everywhere.
Have it too. So,
Good.
yeah.
That's it, right?
That's it. Well, it's about time, right?
It's
2
about time.
hours of
Then we
streaming.
leave you guys
I think we
to
reached the record.
your well-deserved rest. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for joining us and for making this awesome game and for this journey. Really appreciate it. Have a good night. Get some rest. So we're back out there tomorrow
Fit
for
and
the
powerful.
community. Yeah.
All right,
you
thanks
guys.
everyone
Being
so much.
here too.
You. Yeah. Cheers, guys.
See you later.
See you then, right? Bye
Bye.
Bye.
You are not supposed to be here. We have been led astray from our path.
Fall back into the coffin out of which you unceremoniously scuttled.
Through the portal, purgatory awaits. When you fail, return to me. This necromantic temple was used to communicate with the dead. Burn that profane temple to the ground.